This is George from High Tech Legion. Over the last few months, we've seen a real shift in the way audio is being handled by many manufacturers, especially in motherboards. We're seeing a shift where people are using changeable op amps on motherboards, better grounding, definitely extolling the better grounding and showing it off with lines on the motherboard, showing exactly where the audio section resides and how it's separated from the rest of the motherboard components. Well, if imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then ASUS should feel pretty good right now because these are all duplicates of things ASUS has been doing for years. Now, in addition to making very good onboard audio, ASUS also makes an entire line of add-on audio products from high-end PCI Express cards to also external cards. Today we're going to take a look at their newest external piece, which is made for gaming, multimedia, and music, the Xonar U7. The Xonar U7 is definitely an interesting little piece. First off, let's take a quick look at the box just to get through some of the specs. The U7 obviously is a USB sound card and headphone amp. Compact size, incredible audio. Built-in headphone amp, as we say. Mic control, 104 dB signal to noise. Very important right there. Obviously, that's a great number on the signal to noise. Capable of 192 hertz. At 24 bits, of course, selectable 16 bits, and can go through just about any configuration you like in terms of that. Also features Dolby Home Theater. Moving around to the back, get a look. 114 dB signal to noise compared to about 90 dB is what you're going to get on a standard motherboard. Over here, Dolby Home Theater, realistic surround sound. Dolby Home Theater actually works very, very well with 7.1 as well as 5.1, as we'll see later in the testing. Now also, sound detail boost. Getting a look here, you see the frequency response from the headphone amplifier that is built in here, as well as what you typically get on a headphone amplifier. What most people don't realize is with underpowered headphone amps, you have a situation where it's only going to reproduce the mid-range frequencies cleanly because it doesn't have the power to reproduce the harder to produce bass, which requires more power, and the high end. So you actually do get a much flatter signal response from the headphone amplifier itself. Quick rundown of the connectors here, which we'll take a look at on the unit itself. And system requirements. Now the other side of the box works, of course, with Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Mac OS X. And a couple of the specs, once again, like we say, 114 dB signal to noise. THD at 1 kilohertz, only a fraction of a percent, as you can see here. Frequency response of 10 hertz to 46 kilohertz. And sample rate resolution up to 192 kilohertz. As we said, at 24-bit depth. Bus compatibility is USB 2 for all features. USB 1 for playback only. Cannot use microphone input and does have some problems using some of the effects with USB 1. Is completely USB powered, so no need for an external connector there. And headphone amp from 32 to 150 ohm. So pretty nice looking specs here. Now the unit itself, as you see, very small, very simple, compact, and also very easy to use. Now, as long as we've got it turned upside down, you've actually got a USB 1, USB 2 switch right on the bottom. So if you're going to be using USB 1, you just need to flip it over into USB 1. But now let's look at the main controls. On the front panel, we've got the headphone and microphone, headphone out, microphone in, and microphone volume up and down on a rocker switch. On the back, USB connector, coax, SPDIF output, front output, rear, center, and side output as well, clearly marked on the back. Top of the unit, where all your controls are. This is basically, you've got your mic, line input, volume up and down, but basically your control is up here. It's a simple one jog wheel. Now you've got 3, as you can see, lights up top for headphone, speaker, and digital out. Simply pressing the jog wheel will select your output. Volume is controlled simply by turning the jog wheel. So it's very, very easy to use without looking at it. Now, if you're using it for gaming, obviously that's a huge deal. You can reach down and very intuitively turn your mic up and down, and of course turn your volume up and down without having to look. Also very nice that you can select the output with a simple push of a button, and it will toggle through. So very, very easy to use and operate. As you see, the U7 takes on the Xonar theme. It's got the Xonar logo, all black with gold trim. Really nice looking unit. Not too heavy, very easy, lightweight to take with you. So really nice construction, as we've seen on all the Xonar pieces. Very well put together, very nice looking, and very, very simple to use. The Xonar U7, of course, comes with a full slew of accessories. Starting off first, Toslink adapter for the SPDIF, so you can actually convert the coax into a Toslink without a problem, if you're going to be using it in that manner. Next, 6-foot USB cable is included. Driver software is included. You'll notice it is Windows 7 version 7.0.11.11. You're going to want to download, I should say, the latest driver from the ASUS site. It has gone through a couple generations since this disc was made, and there are some significant improvements, especially as far as compatibility and working of all the effects. So definitely go to the ASUS site, download the latest driver. And finally, quick start guide. Well illustrated. I mean, obviously, it's a very simple piece to set up and very simple to use, so it's not going to be all that involved, like we say. So, good looking accessories. The one thing that is missing here that I would have really liked to have seen is, you notice the front output is RCA cables. So you will need an RCA to 3.5 millimeter adapter if you're going to be using standard powered computer speakers or whatnot. So I would have liked to have seen that adapter included. We've seen it included on some other pieces before, not on this one, but of course, small price to pay.
Let's get a look at the included Xonar software with the U7. First off, as you see here, over on the left, you've got your selectors as far as speaker, digital out, mic, and line in. I don't have a mic or line in plugged in at the moment, so they are not lit up. Now, to change over to headphone and speakers, simply select it on the unit itself, and it will automatically change over. But first, let's take a quick look at speakers. Comes up immediately with volume control. Right-clicking on whichever item you're looking to make changes on will bring up the selections. So let's run through very quickly. Volume control, speaker settings, stereo, quadraphonic, 5.1, 7.1. So you'll be able to select whatever setup you're using. Sample rate, naturally, higher sample rate with a deeper bit rate is going to give you a little bit smoother sound, but not all programs will necessarily support it, especially effects. Default is typically 48 kilohertz. And 16-bit or 44.1 16-bit. Personally, I do like to bring it up as high as possible, get the smoothest sound possible. Moving on, environmental effects. Basically, echo and surround. You've got all of the presets that you're used to seeing in most sound cards, everything from a padded cell all the way to psychotic and karaoke to bring out some really serious echo in there. You know, even a bathroom setting. You can also adjust your room size, which of course is going to adjust the delay on the reverb itself. Next, Flex Bass 2 allows you to select your speakers, what's going to get bass, what's not going to get bass. You can have a cutoff frequency, change your bass level, so you can really tweak out the bass to match your existing speaker system. So you're not getting bass to smaller speakers, you are getting bass to larger speakers if you like, not only your subwoofer. So you do have quite a bit of flexibility there. You really can tweak it out, like I say, with the cutoff frequency and the bass level, as well as each speaker, or I should say each pair of speakers, you being selectable to get bass or not get bass. And I'm actually going to go back here and change back into stereo for the next few items. Zir Sing FX basically enables karaoke. You can fade out the vocal, and this actually gives you a center frequency so you can match it up with the recording and get the vocal faded out so you can sing along. Enable key shifting, get it into a key that you can actually sing along to. So if you're going to be doing karaoke or making your own videos, great way to do it using the original instrumental background. Surround speaker, virtual surround, can only be used if you're set up in 2-channel mode, and you can enable surround, and you have control over the width of the field as well as the speaker angles. So a nice virtual surround sound setup. right there. And surround max, I should say, needs to have speaker settings of at least 5.1, so we'll go into 7.1. Just leave it there, go into surround max, and surround max is going to enhance the surround sound settings from the 7.1. Now moving on, we need to turn off surround max. We can go into Dolby Home Theater 4. And Dolby Home Theater 4 has its own UI, as you see here, power on and off up top. One of the great things about Dolby Home Theater 4, it works very, very well, and the presets are actually fantastic on it. You've got, right out of the box, movie, music, game, racing game, RTS, action RPG, and FPS, each obviously with their own presets. And as you can see, things do move around a bit. So let's take a quick look at exactly what these things do. First off, you've got the intelligent equalizer, which has presets built in. And one of the nice things here being these presets actually do work very, very well. Unlike, most software we see where you get these presets that just have huge, scoops in them, or just, it says jazz and all it does is emphasize the mid-range. These actually work very well, and they're pretty well thought out. The open actually does sound very open. The balance does sound very balanced. So you might want to give them a try and just, flip through. Of course, you can change the individual bands yourself manually. Now, going down, you've got a volume leveler, which if you're ever watching TV and you've got those commercials coming on, which are significantly louder than the TV program you're watching, or music much louder in the TV show or movie that's much louder than the dialogue, you want to even it out, the volume leveler will do that for you. Personally, I would never use it on music because it does cut down dynamic range, but you can actually adjust the amount of volume leveling that takes place. You've got a dialogue enhancer, which will do just that, once again selectable. So again, much more usable in movies, TV, etc., multimedia than it would be in music. Also, obviously going to work well in some types of games. So moving on over here, surround virtualizer with built-in speakers or headphones. So you've got it selectable. You can turn on your virtual surround for built-in speakers, or only if you're using headphones. And they are completely different virtual surrounds, obviously tweaked out for headphones or built-in speakers. And of course, you can create custom profiles. You can tweak any of these profiles and save them as well to match up with your particular setup. So moving on, when you move over to SPDIF, obviously, it's going to cut down quite a bit on the amount of options available. And basically, the only option you've got is PCM or Digital Dolby. Now, moving over to speakers. Once again, if we change over to headphones, again, you're going to cut down a little bit on what is offered. There's no flex bass, and obviously no zero surround. It's going to be zero surround headphone. But once again, you do have full features there. So very, very powerful software. Very easy to use, as you see. Very intuitive. And the inclusion of Dolby Home Theater 4 can't be discounted. Makes it an incredibly flexible setup. You have total control over the setup as well, which is really fantastic, and some great presets built in. So you've got a very powerful, easy to use software suite from ASUS included with the Xonar U7.
I have to say, for an $89 retail piece, the Xonar U7 really exceeded expectations. The software is absolutely fantastic. The hardware itself is also great, offers great flexibility and functionality. To get a look at the subjective listening tests, you can click the link right below at the bottom of this video, or of course, if you're reading the full review, you can just continue to read on. Now, through the subjective listening test, the U7 was an absolute outstanding performer, far and away much better than any onboard solution available, even the highest end ASUS onboard solutions, actually rivaling many of their higher priced sound cards. But once again, it's 7.1, 5.1 stereo 4-channel output, absolutely outstanding in terms of flexibility, very, very easy to use, incredibly full featured, really like the software. So the U7, obviously $89, is the winner of a High Tech Legion Editor's Choice Award. There's absolutely no question about it. If you're looking to upgrade your sound, it's an absolutely phenomenal choice without a huge price tag attached to it. And nicer than that is the fact that you can take it to any computer and use it wherever you like. So if you're gaming in one room and decide to go watch a movie in another, you can take it with you and offer upgraded sound in another room. So once again, the ASUS Xonar U7, Editor's Choice Award winner from High Tech Legion.